Welcome to the show Livin the Dream. Livin the Dream is the wry comment among musicians unloading in the pouring rain after a 2-hour drive to play for 3 people. But it's also a raised fist when the audience is with you, every song is perfect and you can't play a wrong note. That too is living the dream. This is for the musicians who don't quit, who keep performing, and for songwriters who now have the whole world of the internet to display their works. I'm one of you, and I'm here for us. Hi everybody, I'm Billy Bourbon. Welcome to Livin the Dream. Now, this show's about people who keep playing, keep on keeping on. You know, anybody can form a band when they're 19. That's easy. It's after you get over 40 that it gets to be, do I really want to do this in the rain and the cold and drive 2 hours to play? You know, that's what Livin the Dream's about. But it's also about that feeling when, and I know, Randy, you felt it. Everybody who's ever played has felt it. That feeling when you could hit the guitar and it would be right. You know, when everything's working, the band is hitting on all cylinders. That transcendent. When the crowd is with you, and that too is living the dream. So, welcome to my guest, Mr. Randy Meadows.
Hello, Billy.
Now everybody's going to hear that Randy has a southern accent, and in fact, it got you a good gig doing. You were the narrator for Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, there in Houston, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I did. I was the band leader role, which I kind of narrated the first, years up to date to when the play began. So that was an interesting thing, and a lot of dialogue, and I was nervous. They insisted I was the guy for the job because of my accent.
You are the guy for the job for your accent. I tell you what.
I know.
I tell you, people up here, up northerners might think it's fake, but no, that's just the way he talks all the time.
Yeah, it is. I would like to take much proper terms on my vocal, but it comes out Texas,
Yeah, even if he does an English accent with a Texas accent,
Yeah.
So anyway, you've been hunkered down here like the rest of us down there in Houston, huh?
Yes, I think March 12th was my last gig, and there's no actual end in sight. I mean, there will be gigs that will come back fairly immediately, but I think there's going to be about 50% of them is going to be down the road before they even get back going.
Oh, I have no doubt that there's some. I know I owned a bar, and I know how slim the margins are, and there's some of those people
exactly.
Some people are not going to make it back.
Exactly. So, I'm doing okay. I'm, as musicians, I think we got an edge in some regards because we're used to kind of just hanging out and playing our guitar and watching TV, then muting it and playing some more guitar, then eating.
Well, yeah,
now the story of our life. Then at 8:00 we leave to go to the gig, but Randy,
like I was when I was living down there doing it full time, and people would ask us all the time, how do you be a full-time musician? You don't make that much money, and it's kind of like what Randy's saying. You don't do anything else. You sit around and write songs and you're kind of hunkered down all the time.
Exactly. So, I am missing the playing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it kind of reminds me of going through hurricanes. You and I have been through seven. You more than me, but I went through 3, and
yes.
You get to see the humanity, usually in a good way, though. I mean, I thought that Harvey brought people together more than anything I'd ever seen down there.
My goodness, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it now in this situation. I'm seeing the calmness around. I'm maybe just in my area of Houston or whatever, but I'm seeing people are being extra polite. I think this, sometimes brings out a different, edge on people. It softens them and there's some more compassion. A lot of people are frightened. Probably not so much now, but when it first came about, when the first
I got in trouble.
Everybody had this look in their eye like they didn't know what to expect. Now we kind of see there may be a glimmer of hope closer than we thought, but there's still uncertainty. And people are being.
I got in trouble on the internet with some friends in Texas because when it first came out and they were hyping it so much, it seemed like they were just hyping it just like they do the weather, and I just made kind of a glib comment. I wasn't making like a policy statement because I don't really get into politics on the internet. It's not very fruitful. And I got raked over the coals, because, and I came to realize it's because people were really scared. They were. I didn't realize the level of fear, and so there was no point in going back and apologizing to anybody. But
exactly. Everybody, this has not been nothing that we've dealt in our lifetime. We've read books about it. I think Dean Koontz had a book that almost paralleled this event. And then we've seen movies, obviously, and all that. But to actually live it, this is new to us. Sure, we've been, hunkered down for a hurricane and certain situations, but this is global, and it's sometimes beyond our mental capacity to really analyze this. It's like, whoa, this is really happening.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like
we're kind of learning as we go.
Yeah, and I think we need to give people the benefit of the doubt all the way, in every regard, But anyway, enough of that. One thing I noticed that has come along. I mean, you and I have been doing. You remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I did my first little experiment, and you were my guest then too. You're one of my test subjects.
Was that the one at the pub?
No, well, that one. But remember, you came over to my house too, over there in Deer Park.
That's right.
And we had wires running everywhere. We got less wires nowadays.
But everything's wireless.
But
I even got look, Billy. I got one of them X-Vives wireless guitar cords. Wireless.
Oh yeah.
Those are great. I have so much more access on stage. Why didn't I get that sooner?
Yeah, there you go. See. Well, one of the things.
Wireless society.
One of the things that's impressed me was you in particular, but also other peers of mine that are getting online and doing live concerts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And you did one, and you had 2,000 people.
I've done three. And the second one had 4.2 thousand.
4,000. Well, there you go.
4,000.
That's like an audience, Randy.
I know. I hadn't played that many people in a long time, so it's kind of. But I didn't get nervous. You notice that I wasn't nervous. I just acted my normal self. A lot of people say, "Were you nervous?" I go, "Well, no. It's a little odd just singing to a screen on an iPad, but
Other than that, yeah. What I've noticed too is I've done 2 of them, and we have no gigs, and I notice I'm starting to get that gig anticipation thing that you get for a gig. Now I got this thing Sunday at 4, man. I got something to do,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm I got a show tomorrow, and I'm thinking about, I've had some requests, and I'm thinking about, well, let's see, how am I going to keep this, fresh?
Right.
Because I don't want to play the same songs, but I want to play their favorites, and I want to put in something different. And make some different changes, just we learn as we go, and the people are really enjoying it, especially during the first couple of weeks, because there was so much uncertainty. There was so all of a sudden you're stuck in a house. Well, like I said, musicians, we're not so unreceptive to.
Well, you're
but a lot of people they're not used to this much, So with the uncertainty, when they got to view the show, they forgot probably for an hour about the coronavirus.
And you are a comforting presence too. I mean, you make people feel good, so I think that helps too. And then when you added Bad Bob,
that was pretty good.
That was real good.
Because I'm myself this week, and I think next week I'm going to add Bad Bob once again.
Yeah, well,
Popular
he's
band.
for people who don't know, Bad Bob's a somewhat famous fiddle player down there in Houston.
Yes,
And,
but
and the thing you love about Bad Bob that I always loved about Bad Bob is he has not only is he a really 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 good fiddle player, but he has a personality. He has a look, not a uniform, but a look that he always presents when he's out playing. And
he's definitely a character. And very talented man.
Yeah, he's also a cartoonist, as I remember.
That's right. He's got a cartoon ad. He's done all the graphics for the Randy Meadows show. He's done.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I wondered if you had done that, but then I thought, oh, probably
Bob. I figured something out because when I first did it, everything was backwards. So Bob actually wrote everything backwards so that when I held it to the screen, they could read it.
That's pretty good.
Problem solved. Then a friend of mine said, I just found there's a place when you're about to go Facebook Live, there's a couple of things you can push, and it will flip the screen where it's like it's supposed to be. So now I had to write everything, instead of backwards, I had to rewrite it forwards again. It's a never-ending process.
I'm telling you.
It's like you said, there need to be 5 or 6 people helping you on these shows,
Yeah.
But, it's fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's getting my mind into, like you say, there's something to look forward to. Hey, I got a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because, boy, there's a lot. I mean, musicians are, capable of hunkering down, but this is getting a little ridiculous.
Yes, sir. I'm Billy Bourbon. This is Livin the Dream. I'm with my friend Randy Meadows. We'll be right back.
I'm drowning in deep whiskey. I'm soaked from my head to my toe. I'm drowning in deep whiskey, and the current won't let me go. I never thought it would take this long, 'cause I thought sorry would make me feel strong. So I turn to a friend who can only help console me when I'm low. The more I turn the bottle up, the further down I go. Drowning in deep whiskey, I'm soaked from my head to my toe. I'm drowning in deep whiskey, and the current won't let me go. And I hope tonight will be a better day. I'm feeling lost and carried away. Maybe I was dancing way too close when she crossed my mind. Just give me a couple more hours, there's no telling what I'll find. I'm drowning in deep whiskey, I'm soaked from my head to my toe. I'm drowning in deep whiskey, the current won't let me go. I'm drowning in deep whiskey, I'm soaked from my head to my toe. I'm drowning in deep whiskey, the current won't let me go.
That was my buddy Randy Meadows with Deep Whiskey. We'll have more with Randy in just a little bit. Back before we were all shut up in our houses during this quarantine, or quarantine as they call it up here, we used to get together and have jams and dance and give hugs out. George Mellicar, I know you're hurting, buddy. He's the ambassador of music in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Well, anyway, we used to jam a lot, and we will again. Here's a clip from them West Side Jam days. This is Ronnie Bowles, the Bird on bass, Tommy Bruner on guitar, and John Lukehart on guitar. It's a Freddie King song called Have You Ever Loved a Woman? Check it out.
We'll give credit where credit's due, Freddie King. 1, 2, 3. Have you ever loved a woman so much you tremble in pain? Oh, yeah. Have you ever loved a woman so much you tremble in pain? All the time you know she's in love with your very best friend. Have you ever loved a woman so much you shiver in pain? Oh yeah. Have you ever loved a woman so much you shiver in pain? All the time you know she's in love with another man. Oh yes she is. Hey boy! Have you ever loved a woman a shame. All the time you know she's in love with your very best friend.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to do it.
Hey everybody, I'm Billy Bourbon. Welcome back to the Livin the Dream. I don't know how good they can see the TV behind me here, but it's there. I'm with my friend Mr. Randy Meadows from Houston, Texas. How you doing, Randy?
I'm doing well, doing very well.
We're all hunkered down. Randy's got a show. You say you're going to just quickly here tell me about your show you're going to do tomorrow? Do you have
Yes, every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time, I do a Facebook Live show, and you can go to my Facebook page, Randy Meadows, and basically it's in my living room at my house. It's me and a guitar. I don't have no backtracks. I just play my guitar and sing some songs, and there is an opportunity for people if they would like to tip, the PayPal method, Zelle, Apple Pay, and such. And because during this time, most of the musicians, unless they married well, don't have any income. And that's pretty much my case. My income is basically live gigs, some sales on CDs and stuff, but that's, how that is. That dribbles in like a leaky faucet.
Right.
So, and the people that come to my gigs was kind of getting a little stir crazy, and somebody, actually Tom Rogers' wife, Gail, kind of inspired me to get it started. She goes, you can put a PayPal thing up, and maybe you can make a few dollars and then tend to your people that, follow you. I said, great idea. Well, I'd never done a live deal. I've had live videos on Facebook done of me while I'm playing, but it wasn't me doing it. So
right, and you're not a tech wizard either, So, but the show looked great and it sounded great, man. Technology is wonderful.
Now that everything's gonna be forward instead of backwards.
Yeah, you can be a right-handed guitar player again.
Yeah. So
now,
anyway,
one of the things that the theory of the show, or the focus of the show, is that is living the dream. Is people who keep playing and keep finding ways to play and still having the desire to play. Now, I know you pretty well, and you and I both have the desire to play. That's not really a problem. But finding new ways to play and finding a way to keep our audience is as our audience kind of ages and would rather stay home.
Exactly.
One of the things that I've always admired about you is Randy developed this thing, and it was over the course of several years where he found a bar who would let him get people to come in the afternoon. Now, the vast majority of these people were older and who had been maybe around when Gillies was around, back in the 70s. And so they're older, and many of them don't drink anymore, and certainly don't day drink. So, bars didn't have a real reason to let people, why would I let you do this if nobody's going to buy any drinks? So Randy broke them to the wheel and got them to start paying a cover charge, and it grew into a pretty good thing. And until they, up until the point where they made us quit doing it, you have a dance hall full of people every week at that show.
Every Tuesday, and we even expanded to another location on Thursdays, which is a little smaller, but it was still very good. But I mean, when I first started, it had been going on for a while. It hadn't really spread out as far as attendance. It was a smaller group, and kind of their own little personal secret.
Right.
And it was a good deal. And at that particular time, the club owner at the Lone Star, they didn't charge a cover charge. They just kind of let it happen, paid the band a little bit of money, and it didn't really make any money. So the club owner kind of just did it out of, gratitude for these people. But when we had to move to another locations, the people was prepared to pay a little cover charge to kind of help finance the band, to where these clubs, since there wasn't going to be a lot of alcohol sales, they at least didn't have to dig out of their pocket to pay for a band. So with that being said, we went to a larger location, and it's kind of like, you know, you can put 100 people in a 100-person bar, and you get a bigger bar, and you can put 200, and that's exactly what happened. It grew. It kind of become, you know, you still got the elderly, and these, when I say elderly, these people are in great shape, Billy. I mean, they're dancing every dance.
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the elite, and they come from all over outside of Houston. But then there was people, and I hate to say it, Billy, but we're getting to that age where a lot of our friends are retiring.
Yeah.
So
or having hip
some of my high
replacements.
school
Yeah.
buddies, you know, what are you doing here? Well, I retired from Exxon, and I heard about this, and this is great. And now nobody really wants to drive at night, because
Right.
if you're a little older, you don't see that well at night. And if you're like me, you know, about 10:30, you're ready to kind of kick back in the bed and turn on, you know, Jimmy Fallon or whatever. And so it kind of shifted to where this is where the demographics that grew up with me are now at. So it's
Well, and
been,
that's exactly the point, you know. And you got to make your own opportunities. You know, nobody's going to come around and give you a career. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
So I again, that's one of the things I really admired about you. And then of course, we'll give a shout out to the band members, because Randy has an extremely good band that plays with him at these shows, which is one of the reasons why so many people show up. You got is Vince playing for you?
Vince Hiller on bass.
Hiller.
Yeah, Vince has been a mainstay.
And on guitar,
We got Wesley Corner.
Wesley Corner, and
Yes.
drums,
We got Ronnie Hall.
Ronnie Hall. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then Bad Bob.
All right. Well, there you go. That there's a band to draw to. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Ronnie Hall, the guy he's talking about, is also a great soul singer.
Oh,
He can
oh,
do a
really
lot of
good,
other
really.
things besides just the country two-step stuff. So
Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
gives a
We've
lot of
got,
versatility. Vince Hiller has a voice like an angel,
Yeah.
and Wesley Corner is one of the hot shit guitar players I've ever heard. So
Yes, it's a lot of talent, you know, and it, you know, the people love it. We've become like family to them. They're family to us, and we're going to continue this. As soon as they open the gates, we're going to be back at Shooters, and these people are raring to get back. You know, it's their big outing Tuesday afternoon.
Now,
I mean,
when
even people, our friends in Nashville, they go, "What is this thing you do?"
I remember
And I
when
explained it to them. I mean, it's intriguing to a lot of people.
I was running a jam night for a lot of years. It's the same kind of thing. People become family. And, you know, you have people.
You do.
You see people get together, hook up for a night. They end up proposing in front of everybody on stage, and they end up getting married. If you do the jam long enough, you see them get divorced. You know, it's a whole cycle of life.
So let me ask you this, Billy Bourbon. Would
Yes,
you
sir.
think Joe Coolman would be drunk uncle?
Drunk uncle. That would work perfectly.
He was one of our friends that would show up at the open mic, the jam at the pub. And then to say he drank a lot.
They call
sang
him
pretty well.
the Duke. The Duke.
The Duke, that's right.
The Duke of
He'll be proud
Fairmont.
that we mentioned his name. We're probably the only people that mentioned his name ever on air.
Well, good. The Duke needs a little
we're
promo,
nice,
man. The Duke's a good singer.
Yes, he is a very good singer. Very good singer. Good guy.
Yeah,
He kept
very
me
good
entertained
guy.
on them Mondays.
He's a friend to have, that's for sure.
Yes. Paul Hatton actually texted me the other day, checking on me, and there's been a lot of that going on. Everybody's been
Right.
checking in,
Right.
like
And
we check in
that's
with each
wonderful,
other.
I think. That's one of the community of musicians. Now, speaking of community of musicians, I'll just go do an on-air thank you. Back when I was living in Houston, I had a car wreck, and I got put down, broken pelvis, and I was in a wheelchair for a while. And this man right here, Mr. Randy Meadows, is one of the guys, when you find out who your friends are when you're in that kind of situation. He took me for grocery shopping. He helped me out, and there's only a
I
few
wish I
people
could
that
have
did
done more
that,
for
and
you.
I remember each and every one of them too.
Well, I wish I could have done more. I know that was. Well, the amazing thing is you've recovered, but that was pretty drastic.
Well,
You
yeah,
did it up right,
I consider airbags and seatbelts to be my friend.
Yes, indeed. Wow.
So you tell me, let's talk about some of your music.
Okay.
Tell me the albums you got. Have you made one
Okay.
since I left?
No, I haven't. Those things, those wheels roll slowly.
Well,
We
yeah, and
gotta wait
I haven't been gone that long either, so yeah.
Yeah. The first CD, and all these you can get, of course, on Amazon, iTunes, and stuff. And that's another way to help us musicians if
Yeah, you don't want to just
purchase
outright
our
tip us.
music.
Buy our material, buy our music. Yeah.
Buy our material. But I have the first CD was back in 92, 93 it came out, called You've Been Kinda Cold. Series of songs I'd written, and actually on that was kind of like, boy, that was I had so many invitational great musicians that I didn't expect to even be on the CD in the beginning. One in which was the great Johnny Gimble. That was like jaw dropping. How do you produce yourself and tell Johnny Gimble what to play? I just told him to play and we'd work it out after that, And then the great Floyd Domino, And not only that, all the musicians that were involved were excellent musicians. So that was just an honor just to do a CD with that kind of talent. Mm-hmm. And then in I think 95, we started doing some recording, me and my ex-wife, and as this thing progressed, my father had recorded some stuff in 90 at Willie's studio with some of his great musician friends.
Okay,
which was
let's
basically kind of like
do a 5-minute intersection here where you tell them who your dad is. Just a five.
Okay, I'll explain that. My father, he's passed away, but he was the great Bucky Meadows. Bucky Meadows grew up in the Houston area and was kind of a child prodigy. He started out playing the piano with Hank Thompson, Billy Gray. He played on some of the old George Jones albums, Why Baby, Why Baby, Why Baby, Why, the original cut of that stuff he was on. And anyway, he got connected with Willie in the early 60s. They became buddies, and then later on, Willie started projecting his career in a launch mode. He was reunited, and they became buddies. And then Redheaded Stranger came out, and of course, Willie just became iconic at that moment. So I was able to record at Willie's studio these two albums. So the second album, like I was saying, we kind of decided to make it into a family album with my father, some of my father's music, mine and my wife at the time's music, and of course Willie kind of joined in too, and that became an album called Family Portrait. So you can get that one, and the newest CD is one called Deep Whiskey, and that was recorded about 5-6 years ago, maybe longer.
Deep Whiskey,
and
yeah.
Deep Whiskey, yeah. And so anyway, that's about the CDs. I've got some material I need to record and get back on track with that. But, the dynamics now of how you do your recording, I don't think you need to record a 10-song CD. You can record...
It's all about singles now, baby.
Release them, singles. And, nobody really buys CDs much. I still sell them on the gigs somewhat, but most people download, from the sites or, it's always a tough task on us independents. But I think it's tough on everybody right now.
Yeah. Well, at least we've got a way to get the word out nowadays, better than we could before.
That's true.
We don't have to go through some executive in Los Angeles or anything like Nashville. We can promote ourselves and.
Exactly. And I'm seeing such good talent, that postmodern jukebox.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about.
And it's always been a, what's the famous show business line? If you want to be struck by lightning, you got to stand in the rain.
Yeah, that's a good line. I hadn't heard that one. That makes perfectly good sense.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, I could be the best songwriter in the world living up here in my little small town that I live in, but if nobody ever hears me, then
that's true.
Then how great a song it doesn't work
exactly.
out. And
how many songs? Just think of how many great songs were missed out in the 50s, 60s, and 70s because this person may have stuck it in a shoebox and it's never was heard by only the 5 or 6 people in the family. You know,
Yeah.
you know, there's some hidden treasure somewhere.
Oh yeah, because there's talent everywhere.
Exactly.
I've always said it takes more than just talent. Only the super talented will have somebody come along and say, "I got to make you a star." You got to have other
Exactly.
features to your abilities. You have to be able to socialize. You have to be able to make business
Sure.
deals. You have to be able to take orders. You got to be able to give orders. You got to be able. There's lots of different things that
Now you got to dance. You got to be able to dance, Billy.
and you got to be able to dance.
You know, what would Justin Bieber be if he didn't dance?
Excellent
Maybe
point.
Michael Jackson wrote that for everybody. No, I think
So
about it.
that's why I've been missing.
Yeah, we just didn't dance well enough, Billy.
We're getting old enough. We're sitting on stools while we play. For God's sake,
Yeah, absolutely dance. Yeah,
I dance on my stool though.
yeah.
You were talking about doing backing tracks just a minute ago. I'm kind of jumping off thing, and I'll come right back to your records. But I saw Chad Ware the other day doing a live broadcast. Now Chad Ware is one of the another one of the hot shit guitar players. In
He
Houston,
is.
Texas.
He is, and he has been for a while, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Well, you introduced me to him when we made that album.
Exactly.
And he was playing, and he had a what do you call it, a looper. So he put in a backtrack, and then he played over the top of it. And I'm telling you what, and of course he's so smooth that you couldn't hear. It was seamless,
See, me, I would be pushing the wrong button. I'd be cussing in the middle of a solo because I messed up, and then the whole Facebook Live thing would be tainted.
Tell me about that song. I'm a terrible interviewer here for not knowing in advance, but I just recalled it. The song that you had a kind of a semi-hit with in Japan.
Oh, Jesus on the Radio.
Jesus on the Radio, yeah.
Yeah, that was released. A friend of mine, Rick Stansels, called me, and this is probably back 2006, 5, somewhere around there, and said he wanted to start this record label, Armadillo Records, and he was going to push the stuff over in Europe. Well, he's a good guy, and I didn't know much about that. He said, I'd like to put some of your songs on, it's a compilation type deal. And I said, sure. So I didn't think no more of it, pretty much. I sent him the song Jesus on the Radio. And about a month and a half after that conversation, he called me. He says, have you been checking on your song? I go, I don't even know how. Well, he gave me a link to check on the European CMA Billboard, and this listed usually the top 10 to 15 songs in like Belgium, Germany, Australia, even in Japan. He said, you need to take a look. So as I was looking through, I saw, oh, look, Jesus on the Radio, number 7 in Belgium. Cool. And then I looked, oh, look. Well, that happened for the next 6 weeks. Every week it would jump up, and jump up. And Liz Talley also had a song, I forget which song was it, was doing even better, and from Armadillo Records compilation. Mm-hmm. And that song, Jesus on the Radio, I mean, it just was a chart topper in all these unique countries, Japan, Australia. And of course, after that, I'd release, every time he released a CD to send over there, I'd have one of my songs on there. But Jesus on the Radio did the best by far.
Now, Deep Whiskey is a great song. Now, Jesus on the Radio, which album is it on?
It's on The Family Portrait.
And then Deep Whiskey is the most recent album, and Deep Whiskey is a great song. A great song.
I love that song.
Now,
I love that song.
Is that the album that also has the you and the other guy with about the strippers?
Yeah.
What's the name of the song?
Titty Dancer.
Titty Dancer. Yeah. I think there's a video on that on YouTube. I will put it in the show so people can see that one.
Yeah, there could be a better video than that.
With some good lighting and cameras and a couple of professionals, we can make a much better video.
My buddy Chris Swanson, he he does film productions and stuff, and he was wanting to shoot a video, and he was going to pitch it to Billy Gibbons when Billy had that he had some kind of tequila that he was producing.
Oh yeah.
I never tried it, and about the time Chris was going to approach him about, we'd use the tequila in the the storyline to kind of introduce his brand.
Yeah.
Like he really needed my help, but anyway. But by the time Chris got to him, he said, "Oh, I sold it." so that didn't happen. But the video was thought out pretty good, and it was. Wish we could have done that, but anyway, Titty Dancer is a song. It's hard to explain that song. You just got to listen to it, and it's pretty much right there in front of you.
If I could, I'll try for you. It's a song about titty dancers done in good taste.
Yeah, I'd say that.
It's a song about titty dancers you could play for your mom. And in fact, your co-writer did play it for his mom, as I recall.
Yeah, that's a story too. I was playing with Lisa and Greg Brewer in the Cherokee country band, and every summer they would have a family reunion in southern Arkansas, and they would like to perform. They always wanted to perform. They had, like, Saturday night they would perform for the family outside. It was just real nice, and they always invited me to go, and they put me in a cabin. Of course, during this time of me playing with them, I got to know their sons, and the youngest one was aspiring to be, musical, Jonathan. So he's grown up. He got to learn how to play guitars. Dad gave him a guitar, was showing him. So we get to the cabin this one particular summer at the family reunion, and I wasn't in my cabin good, and he knocked on the door and was excited about playing me these songs that he had written. So I sat and I listened to probably about 3 or 4, and they were basically, they were okay songs you would write when you're 17 years old, 18 years old,
right,
about your girlfriend, how pretty she is, and I want to take her to the homecoming dance. I said, okay, well, John, that's pretty good. So you wrote 3 of those. You need to put something with some edge. So in a matter of about 30, 45 minutes, we had written this song. And he actually produced some lyrics in this song. And when you hear the song, you'll think, wow. So he couldn't wait to go to his mom and dad's cabin after this 45-minute session of writing this song. And he goes up there and they go, "You wrote a song with Randy? We're so proud of you. Play it for us." And he played it. Well, I wasn't there to see the eyes roll from his mother.
Thanks, Randy.
Funny that, this, pure 18-year-old son of theirs has written a song about a titty dancer. So, anyway, it didn't hurt nothing. He's a good boy. He's married. And I don't think he ever went to a titty bar, so I'm real proud of him. But
does
his
he
efforts
does he still play?
Made that happen. Huh?
Does John still play?
He plays some. I think he's more into Christian music right now. Him and his wife. So he don't hang out in the old bars like we was hanging out in. So.
Well, that's probably best.
But interesting story about that. About that song. How that was written with somebody so inexperienced with that environment. So, but it worked.
Well, it kind of made it because he didn't really have any preconceptions of what it was. It kind of made it. More glamorous or better than it.
It
didn't have
definitely, because that song would not have been written if he wouldn't have came in there and played me.
Yeah, anybody who's ever hung out in a strip club is not going to see it the same way. It's not going to think of it the same way,
Well, I've seen it played in movies and stuff, so that was how I kind of got my information.
Yeah, right.
Really, I wasn't a strip. We did. I must.
You didn't have to be, Randy. I've seen the women you've been with. You've always had really good-looking women in your life.
That's right.
You're
my
lucky
experience in gentlemen's clubs, and I'll be nice and use that term. When I was playing with Supernal, occasionally, and he knew of this particular gentlemen's club that had a Western motif, almost like you went into a country bar. And so that made it a little easier, and he'd just say, "Hey, come on, we're going to take a break from this drive." And it was in Fort Worth or Dallas, and I can't remember the name of it. Well, he'd go get just a whole big pile of $1 bills and sit in the middle of the table and tell us boys just to have some fun for a while. Well, I never felt real comfortable in those type of deals. But after a couple of drinks, you kind of start to enjoy you loosen up. So that was my main experience in those. And, what?
Well, my gentleman club theory is this: they're kind of like drugs and stuff. They're for young people to experiment with and get them leave behind.
Exactly.
And if you're our age, if you're in your 50s still and sitting in a strip club drinking, you got some.
Yeah, you got some problems.
You got some things going on. You could use a little life coaching.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you get to be our age and you see a girl up there who could clearly be your daughter, and you go, "This ain't." No.
In some cases, granddaughter.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, I don't know how we got on that. Ended up on that subject, but from the song, I guess.
That's where these interviews can go. They just kind of have a mind of their own.
Well, we'll wrap this one up. Thank you so much for answering the call this morning, Randy. And I will put the show together.
It's been fun.
And
I miss you, man.
Yeah, maybe we can do this again sometime. I'll be coming down there one of these times.
Well, come on. Let me know ahead of time, and we'll dust out the guitars and do some picking somewhere.
All right. Thanks, Randy. We'll see you later.
Okay, good luck to you, Billy.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. This is Livin the Dream, and we'll have more stuff coming up.
She don't wanna be a titty dancer. She's just working her way through school. She don't wanna be a titty dancer, but her boyfriends think she's cool. She goes round and round and round and round that shiny brass pole. The lights are bright and she may dance, but she ain't a hoe. She don't wanna be a titty dancer. She's just working her way through school. She don't wanna be a titty dancer, but her boyfriends think she's cool. She was a homecoming queen, kept her nose clean, #1 in her class. Now she drives all day in her Escalade that she paid in cash. She don't wanna be a titty dancer. She's just working her way through school. She don't wanna be a titty dancer, but her boyfriends think she's cool. Now if her daddy knew just what she'd do to pay for them books, he might blow his top, but then he'd stop. Her mother was one too. Now she don't wanna be a titty dancer. She's just working her way through school. She don't wanna be a titty dancer, but her boyfriends think she's cool. She don't wanna be a titty dancer. She's just working her way through school. She don't wanna be a titty dancer, but her boyfriends think she's cool. Those are nice.
Hey, everybody. I apologize right now. If you wake up in the middle of the night with a song Titty Dancer in your head, it's Randy's fault, not mine. I just play them. It happened to me. That wraps up the show for this time. I'm your host, Billy Bourbon, Livin the Dream, where we feature players who keep on playing. If you know somebody that should be on the show, drop me a line at billybourbonmail@gmail.com. Also, if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com and look up Billy Bourbon and become a supporter of our show. We can always use more support. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.